Welcome to the Jelly Show live from home. So live from isolation, the isolation arms. Here we are. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for actually sending everything through for the last few episodes. We hadn't asked me anything, and it was great to have all those questions come through. Really, really helpful, and hopefully it made a better show for it. So this week, remotely as we would have done anyway, which is fine, but from slightly different settings, we have the wonderful Andy Barden, coach, founder of Born to Coach.
Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm trying to think, do I do all the arm movements like you, or should I just stay?
No, I want you to stay still. I don't want you to see movers. It's the only way I can think is to pull things out of the air.
Yeah.
So for those people out there who are joining the call, who don't know, kind of what you do and haven't seen your videos, tell us a little bit about yourself, Annie.
Okay, so I kind of came onto LinkedIn maybe 7 or 8 months ago after years in the wilderness. I work for a digital marketing company, so we are one of the few businesses at the moment that are doing well, which is good to hear. Obviously, as we said earlier, we like to see people still doing well and trying to help other people. But probably my biggest passion, because I've done it since I was 20, which is a few years now.
Yeah.
Is coaching, leadership, putting out content around that, and just generally being a bit quirky and a bit mad on LinkedIn to try and sort of cheer people up and make people laugh. So that's probably what more people know me for on LinkedIn right now.
So you weren't using LinkedIn last year. This is literally just something that's happened over 7 or 8 months.
Literally, yeah. When I first went into digital marketing, which was 9 years ago, LinkedIn was a very different place.
Yeah, it was just CVs for recruiters, right?
Yeah. And it was real sort of all the stuff that we don't like now, the hard selling and the email, the mass emails and stuff. We were doing that all day, every day.
Yeah. And
LinkedIn was my world, and we made a lot of money through LinkedIn doing that. And then I went into a management position within that company, the company that I'm still at now. And naively for me, I came away from LinkedIn because I thought, right, okay, well, I've now got people to do the sales bit.
Now I'm not doing the doing. I don't have to use that tool anymore. Yeah.
I'm just operational now. I need to manage lots of other things, so I don't need it. And then I stupidly went on years later thinking, well, I've got 3,000 connections. I'm going to post something and it's going to get loads of engagement. And it like bombed and did nothing. And it's like, what's all this about? But, you know, and we'll obviously come on to this in a minute about how LinkedIn works. But I sort of quickly realized that those 3,000 connections mean absolutely sod all if you haven't engaged with them for the last 6 years. And half of them don't even work at the same company that they've worked at before or aren't even on LinkedIn anymore. So, yeah, that was that. And then, like I say, last maybe August, September, I kind of wanted to prove a point to my boss, who kind of didn't think it was a worthwhile exercise. And I wanted to prove a point that I could generate an audience and build a following on LinkedIn.
Sure.
By not talking about what I do for a living.
Yes.
Because actually no one really cares about any of that. And you have to build the audience based on you as an individual, as opposed to your business.
Yeah, it's one of the things as well. Like all through my career, when I've worked with people, the old school people are always saying, "Listen, people buy from people. People buy from people," and it's 100% true. I'm not saying that's wrong, but like I've worked with, I've had clients, I've had bosses who like that's their whole thing. People buy from people. You got to get out there, and yet they didn't. They're also usually the people who didn't get the marketing thing.
No,
you should pick up the phone. You should speak to more people. I can only call, like if I'm a savage, I can get 150 calls in a day. If I'm, full of Red Bull and pep. That's only 150. If I release, a video, it easily gets 1,000 views. Okay, if a view is only 3 seconds with 50% of the screen being seen, but that's the same as me calling up and being like, "You're busy? Okay, cool, bye."
And the thing is, a call, when you cold, especially when you cold call, they have no history of you as an individual. They don't understand you as a person. They don't know what you're about. They don't know your vulnerabilities. They don't know what you can deliver.
No.
When you tell a story on social, particularly on LinkedIn, over time people get to understand you as an individual. So when the time comes for you to make that contact, you've got so much more of a chance of actually engaging with that person that is your target audience than just trying to get them on the phone. And yes, it takes longer.
It does.
And yes, sometimes you need to do it outside of hours and evenings and weekends and stuff. But sure. That's what it is. That's how it works.
But it also,
or you don't.
And it also means that you're not having to make 150 phone calls a day every day as, you know, a lead generating savage. You can actually be releasing, like I make now, you know, we have a constant sort of stream of content being released and it gets engagement and we get, you know, inbound requests from it. I make so many less calls. I don't need to. I send out a bunch more LinkedIn messages to be like, hey, and keep up with people. But a lot of what I do is just kind of going out and you know, social selling, essentially going out and just being part of the audience and talking about if I can add value, I will. If not, I learn a ton of stuff from doing that. Like I'm so much more informed and up to date by the knowledge of crowds from constantly going out and looking on LinkedIn and, you know, and also increasing followers or like, you know, people I follow. I go out to connect with is what I mean, as opposed to, you know, people connecting with me, going out with people that I want to learn about their industry. Doesn't necessarily, I don't always just pick, you know, more and more digital marketing people put on top of it. But also I love hearing from business owners in random industries and you find out, oh, they did that and it worked. It's like, cool. It's really useful over here. And we can kind of use it across.
And I think that's the thing that people miss with LinkedIn versus cold calling. You don't learn a great deal by being rejected 100 times a day and letting that consume your day. Whereas if you spent an entire day on LinkedIn engaging with other posts, putting your own posts out, learning what works, what doesn't work, messaging people, what you learn is just incredible.
It is. And you might hone your pitch. Like you might hone your pitch after 100 calls, maybe, if you manage to speak to 10 people and 3 of them didn't tell you to do one. But the other knowledge that you get from the same day and have the same success, like, you know, I spoke to 3 people were kind of into it. But at least I learned stuff and I was out there and I've connected with, and more importantly, when someone puts that phone down, this is the thing I could never used to get past you know, sales directors. After I've put the phone down, I'm gone. Like I'm just another person who called. Once I've connected on LinkedIn and I'm constantly posting it, I'm just kind of there. Like I'm just kind of there. And if I do call in 6 months time, you know, I'll make a connection, send a LinkedIn message, you know, at least we're out there. Right. So back to yourself. So you were, you decided I'm going to put my foot down. I'll show my boss. Okay. So how'd you go about it? Right. Everyone wants to do better at LinkedIn. How did you go from 0 to hero?
Well, I suppose the first thing to touch on there is the chances are my boss won't actually watch this. But just in case he does, he's actually phenomenal. The things he does with the business that we're in are mind blowing, and he's actually the hardest working MD I've probably ever come across as well. We used to have a laugh about it, and he used to say to me, "Your stuff it's not going to work," you know. And I went to him, "Do you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong."
And that's what I mean. There are some great leaders out there. Like, you know, those sales directors I was talking about, phenomenal people, did huge numbers. Me not being able to get that pass is just a different kind of way of thinking. So I love the idea of being like, all right, it costs nothing. Let me show you.
Apart from, I do so much of it in my own time.
Right.
You know, it never affects business. I've had so much on the back of it in terms of people messaging me that I've then sent off to my sales guys and stuff. So what did I do to start? Well, the key thing was, once I realized that posting was going to do nothing for me because these people weren't engaged and didn't know who I was.
Okay.
You then do what lots of other people will tell you to do, and that's start engaging.
Right.
So forget posting for a second.
Okay.
No one wants to hear your message because you've not built up anything and no one knows who you are. Start engaging with everyone else. Start engaging with 30, 40 posts a day within niches that you care about or that you're then going to later go on and talk about.
And how do you find those niches?
You can hashtag.
Okay.
I think I started connecting with people that I thought, you know, other coaches, leaders, people in the digital marketing space.
Yeah.
So, and then if they weren't in my feed on a daily basis, I would just hashtag it.
Right.
And then you get everything under that hashtag. So I can then start going on commenting on loads of posts within that hashtag if I can add value.
Yeah, and so exactly, and that's the thing is, don't do that. That's one thing I just tell people all the time. Guests do go out there, don't just thumbs up, smiley face, just don't do it. Like don't post, hit like, move on. If you can't, if there isn't something you can say that's sensible and adds value, and isn't too shitty as well, don't be shitty. Try not to be anyway. But if you can't do it, then you can still, engage with that post and move on. You still get a little bit of that, but don't just comment for nothing. Okay, so going out and basically what you're saying is filling your feed with the right people. So you're going to see that. Okay.
And once you've done that for a few weeks, you start seeing inbound connection requests coming in, inbound messages coming in, and then all of a sudden, those posts that you're putting out start getting a little bit of engagement, and you start seeing. And again, it's a long game. It's a slow play,
isn't it?
And you have to be grateful at first for impacting one person or two people or three people.
Absolutely.
You have to kind of accept that and say that's a win. A month ago I was impacting no one.
Yeah.
So and then it kind of builds from there. And I think you then hit that point where you post something that appeals to the masses, and you go, and I even did a video about this, which was the roller coaster of LinkedIn content. And it was, typical video of mine playing lots of different characters, but it was that emotional roller coaster of you hit that sweet spot where you post something and it goes crazy, and then you naively think, oh, I've made it.
Yeah.
I've made it.
Every post now. Every post I've completed LinkedIn. Yeah. Every post is going to get, now it's 10,000. Tomorrow's got to be mil, easy.
Yeah.
Then I'm the Kim Kardashian of LinkedIn. Yeah, it's a real kick in the nuts that next week, isn't it? It's
the next post that bombs, because you think you're the big dog, and then you put something else out, and everyone's like, "Who's this mug?"
It's the same video, right?
Yeah.
Same video. It's like it's different content, but I've done the same things. It was shot in the same place.
Yeah.
No one cared.
No, literally no one cared. So then you think, right, I'm back to the drawing board again. And I think even now, like all these months on, when you get to the point where you're posting every day, and you still now, like for instance, yesterday I put out something and it's had probably 600 engagements across likes, comments, shares, whatever.
Brilliant.
And then 4 or 5 hours later, you put something else out. That's completely different type of post, but it's still you. It's still me as an individual, and it completely bombs. And you think timing, maybe, but it's just the way it is. And you get to the point where you stop taking it personally, and you just think, that's just the way LinkedIn works. I've Chris, you mentioned Chris, who you had on before, who I've been connected with for some months now. I love Chris's stuff, and whenever I see it, I always interact with it. He is one of those few people that I interact with his stuff regardless. But even a powerhouse like him on LinkedIn has a post that will go mental. And then he will start talking about something maybe a bit more serious, which people don't really associate Chris with sometimes.
Sure.
And it won't do quite what perhaps you would associate with Chris's levels.
Yeah.
And that's someone as big as he is. So you just have to keep going, keep learning.
So it brings an interesting point. So how have you got to so it's been a whirlwind tour, less than a year from and you get loads of great engagements. I see your posts. There's loads of not only is there a community of people who are regularly commenting, but lots of people will comment on every post, which is just awesome. So how do you grow that thick skin? And when I say thick skin, how do you not sit there just being refresh? Ooh, it's got a view. Refresh. It's got 10 more views. Oh, I'm doing it.
I think having a job helps.
Oh yeah.
Having a job helps because, I don't have the luxury of being able to do that all day.
Sure.
I'm not going to lie that when you're posting, one of the biggest things with any content is the first half an hour, even the first hour.
Really, it really is, isn't it? That momentum that builds up within that time is more or less so much more important than the next 24
Well,
hours.
it really is. And this is why I think maybe the first few comments that you get on a post, if you can try and respond to those comments relatively quickly,
smart.
It kind of makes the post perhaps seem like it's escalating faster than perhaps it actually is. And then that tends to work. That tends to then see it beyond a point where LinkedIn prioritizes it, and it can then go off and do really, really well. So, you know, whenever I post, I make sure I've got 10, 20 minutes where if something pops up, you know, I have 3 screens at home and at work. So if it's on one of the screens and I'm working over here and I see something, a notification pop up and it's a comment and I can quickly thank that person or whatever.
Sure.
You know, it takes like 2 seconds and then crack on. I think it's important that, especially when you're first starting out trying to create content, you can't just post and walk. You have to be able to then interact quite early to get things snowballing.
And you know, it's something I see across the board, like all of anyone who's trying to build something, is they forget the social bit of social media. Like I always liken it. It's like if you stood at a pub, just be, you know, at the bar being like, I am well hung and fantastic in bed. And then just hoping that, you know, whoever you're looking for is going to come up to you and be like, I heard you're fantastic in bed, like from over there. I heard it. You know,
and then not even answer them.
But and then don't respond. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no response. Just give them a look, and then you get 50 other people come across and go, I've heard you're well hung.
Yeah, and you just like that.
Yeah, it just comes up. Yeah,
and move on. Exactly. I mean, that would never work, and no one would ever do that, and that would be ridiculous. But how many people is that how they run social? I've posted and I post regularly, and I post and I post and I post, and I'm like, yeah, but you're not going out there. There's a reason that you're following and is never growing, because you're not going out there. You can't just the hashtags aren't magic. Like they just aren't.
Everyone reaches a point. And again, I'll come back to Chris and various other people that do what he does within LinkedIn. You reach a point where you have such a great loyal following that you don't have to be so, right, I'm now going to post, but I need to make sure I've got 20 minutes, half an hour straight off the bat to respond.
Sure.
Because he will naturally get quite a few within the first 10, 20, 30 minutes.
Exactly.
And then perhaps when he gets time, he can come back. But he's worked his ass off for 2-3 years to reach that point. When you're first starting out in the first, even at my level, first 6-7 months, I'm not at a point where I can just post whenever, whatever, and it will go crazy without me having to nurture the post and engage with the people that are taking their time out to engage with me.
And even down to one of the things I always tell people, just before you post a video, make sure that you've gone out and gone on your feed. Like do that bit of engagement. Don't do it at 8 o'clock in the morning and then at 4 p.m. that day, post your video. Go out, start engaging, post a video, continue to engage out there. Keep your eye on your post. If you get some bits come through there, be ready to respond and, you know, kind of, as you say, nurture that. But as you're out there and someone says, oh, Bill Smith liked or Bill Smith commented, there's so much more chance of them being like, who is Bill? They click through, they see your video, pow, then that's there as well. It is all about being social. It genuinely blows me away how the percentage of people who do that, like, and how often I tell people and they're like, oh.
I think social is one of those things, isn't it? And we'll probably come onto it when we talk about how people can pivot and change currently in our current situation. But it's one of those things that still so many businesses don't prioritize. They see it as a luxury item. Something that can be picked up and dropped when you know, the chips are down and you need to get back on the phones and hit the phones for business.
Absolutely.
I think one thing, the biggest thing I've learned, and as a business, we don't use it massively to promote us on a B2B level. We don't use it, you know, we don't have someone in-house that goes out there with a huge social strategy, which is one of the reasons that I did what I did. Because I thought, right, okay, well, if we're not going to prioritize that as a company just yet,
let's see what I can do on a micro level.
That's right. Let me do this, prove that we can get engagement, and then perhaps, and I think that's how any business that's trying to justify a position probably needs to do it. And I completely respect the fact that the boss went to me and said, if you're going to prove me wrong, great, prove me wrong, and then let's address it when you have done. Which was great, and we've done that, and now we can take up that conversation.
Well, and more importantly, you've spent the time to like work out the kinks. I now know these bits and pieces. I know that, okay, when we do it, I know that I'm not going to just post. I'm going to be there to engage, etc. Or like, there is a process behind it.
Yeah. I think one of the things I've struggled with, and I'll be the first to admit it, you reach a point where you've got time to engage with everyone else, and you've got time to engage with your own posts. At some point, your stuff does that and takes up lots of your time.
Sure.
Because I am someone that believes that you do reply and thank every single person that comments.
Me too.
Even if it's hundreds.
Yeah.
Because you're working as well, my time to then engage does that.
Sure.
And what that does, it has a knock on to your own content. So it's a bit of a vicious circle, because the less time you're spending engaging, purely because you're running out of time, your own stuff eventually starts to take a knock.
Because you're not out there doing what we were talking about earlier. You're not learning. You're not learning. You're not hearing what's doing. You're not getting a little bit of inspiration from something and being like, Chris said that. Actually, what he should have said was this. Now I know what I would have said, or whatever, or just been out there and heard someone mention something in the comments. Yeah, it's very, very true.
And that's why people say it's a full-time job.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
it really is a full-time job.
It's so often I talk to people and they're like, I got the admin / person who gets the laundry / social media person. I'm like,
nah.
I bet they're not. I bet they're doing better at laundry than they are social media.
Yeah, they definitely are.
So, as you said, right, everything's changed at the moment. A lot of businesses are having to pivot hard. Like, I've never heard the term pivot from so many people.
No.
And thank for friends for ruining it for all of us, that everyone just hears Ross screaming pivot every time I say it. So I'm finding that people are going one of two ways. They're, as you're saying, that, as we were saying, kind of pre-call, people are panicking and pulling marketing, pulling budget, which, in some instances is a necessity. You need cash flow to pay people. Great, I understand it, batten down the hatches.
Yeah.
But it always surprises me that marketing, or like the entire marketing team, or the only marketing person, whoever it is involved in that, that mass furlough that happened yesterday on the 1st of April. Just because right now is the time to kind of be getting out there. The other side that we're seeing is people who are just doubling down really, really hard, and realizing that, mobile usage has gone up by 60 or 70% over the last 2 weeks globally. Now is the time to make sure you've got an awful lot of stuff out there, because people are on the scroll. So how, I guess you're a great example. If you've done a pivot in August last year and said, I'm going to try something new and do it. Yeah. People do have more time without the commute right now, without taking proper lunches, because everyone's sat at the desk all day. How could people start to do it themselves? How can people start to get on that journey?
I think the biggest thing to look at the moment, I get why people are doing a furloughing staff, because they can't afford to pay them. I completely understand that. I think if you are the business owner, you have to make some personal decisions around how you still market your brand at this point. Right. So you have a brand to come back to whenever the time comes, whether it's a couple of months or whatever.
Sure.
And the amount of businesses still not marketing themselves on social.
Yeah.
If we take social in isolation just for a second, the amount of businesses that are not out there, that aren't creating content. Sorry. The wife's just popped in.
Hey, wife.
Is still staggering to me.
Yeah.
Because the time is now to build that brand, build that reputation, to get people talking. Are people thinking I could build a database of people that I could then communicate with?
Yeah.
Are people thinking I could build an audience online that will keep people warm? Because what's going to happen is, when the time comes where we get released and we're out of this prison that we're in, and everyone can go and just shop and go to restaurants and bars and shows, there's going to be a period where everyone is in the same mix at once,
and floodgates are gonna open. How many people, as much as like working from home seems to be working for the nation, and lots of people have changed that very easily, there's going to be so much stuff to catch up on.
Yeah.
You know, when everyone gets back in an office together, it gets back together, gets to sit in the company and be like, right, you know, we didn't do those 7 events.
Yeah.
Good news. I got a big bag of money. Week. Yeah, let's do them this week.
One a day.
Let's do one a day.
And the thing is, because of that, if you want people to remember you, people that are pulling back and going quiet for 3-4 months and then expecting to just pick up where they left off, they're deluded. It's not going to happen. Over these next 3 or 4 months, every single eye is online. That's where all the attention is. If you want to keep people talking about your product and service so that when the time comes, they can actually use it and spend money on it, they have to be thinking about you every day now. And the only way they can do that, or you can make them do that, is by talking to them every day.
That's right.
And the best way to do that is through social. So
and ultimately, people are going to make decisions, right? People are going to make decisions. People are working. Like once we get over the hump of everyone working from home and being a bit panicked by it, this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to pass in a week. This isn't going to pass in a month. This is, this is how you are. Get set up, get hunkered down. This is what it is for the next couple of months. People are still going to be spending during that time, but also for when we all do get back in the office and everything kind of does open up again and we get back to normal, but a lull to catch up on, people are going to already have decided who they're going to spend with.
Yep.
They're going to have hopefully they've had the conversations, or they're going to come in and say, good news, boss. I was spending a lot of time researching. Here are 3 options.
Yeah.
And where are they going to find you? If you haven't ticked all the buttons and right now is when you can do that face-to-face thing. People buy from people. People can decide that they want to buy from you because they think your video is funny, or they like the cut of your jib, or you released a real important information or bit of value that they were like, oh, that's great. They're the people that that is how you do that whole people buy from people thing without having to go and meet the entire world. And hopefully it's one of those go and buy, which obviously you can't do at the moment.
And, I think coming back to why people pull back on marketing when there's something like this happening, a recession that potentially, a lot of people are saying on the back of this that we will be in a global recession, and there's every chance that we will be. Yep. And there's lots of businesses that are semi-recession proof and there's lots that aren't. But the reason people pull back is because they are very ROI based businesses. And they look at each individual within their business and each job role within their business as, is that showing me pound signs right now?
Yes.
If it's not showing me pound signs, it needs to go.
Yeah.
And possibly they're not forward thinking enough to understand, well, not everything can deliver an ROI in the day or the week that it's produced.
Yeah.
Some ROIs are a year later, 2 years later.
Yeah.
Some things are designed to increase the ROI of another channel.
And that is really, really hard for the old guard to understand.
Really hard
because it's something we always say when we go to businesses. It's like, you have not just you, Mr. Business Owner, whoever, Mr. CEO. It's not just you who works here, and chances are you're not having the conversations. Like, chances are, right? Everyone else on the ground is, but people are worried about building employees' brands, in case they leave.
Yeah.
I get that, and that is the case, but we also will understand that people leave jobs.
Yeah.
It's like employment's a transient thing, and that's okay. Like, I don't mind if I saw a video with Andy last week and now he's not in it, and he's like, hey guys, I'm doing something else. Providing that first place is going to continue to give me the same content from other people in the business, then it's great.
Yeah.
But convincing, because you got to get the first hurdle of people actually, understanding to release content. Convincing them it's a good idea to empower your employees and build their brand. Real difficult thing to get.
Really difficult.
Because then I'm spending money at them, and they're going to go and get a better job, and it's like, no, like, you're actually investing in your people.
Yeah.
And you're making a massive spokesperson out of each one, as opposed to working on yourself, and it's easier. No one has the time.
And that. Trust is a big thing there. Trust is the biggest thing in terms of, well, I'm paying you to work and you're spending all your time on social media. And hang on a minute. Firstly, this social media channel, if we get it right, is actually going to deliver us more than me spending all day on the phone. So you're actually paying me to produce better results there. And it does come down to trust. If someone is delivering results for you, yet they've also managed to get themselves a really decent following on social media, and they're not necessarily massively tarnishing your business by being a complete dick, then so what? You know, really, so what? If I try and encourage my guys every single day to do more on social. Some people, it's just not for them,
and that's cool.
Absolutely fine. Not a problem. Yeah. I think they've watched me and they're looking, thinking, there ain't no way I'm doing that. I'm not doing that for anything, especially if they see me lip syncing to a bit of Michael Bublé. But do you know what? It works for me. It doesn't work for everyone. But from a business perspective, if you don't have anyone in your business going out and doing this in a form like what I do in some way or another, then you're massively losing. You're massively losing out.
And it's never been truer. And I think the problem a lot of people are going to find over the next few weeks and months is that, as we're saying, it doesn't happen overnight. And those first videos you release, guess what? They're not very good. They're just not. You're awkward and you don't know what to say and you don't know where to look, and you spend the whole video looking at yourself the whole time. Yeah, like, yeah, absolutely.
You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of the great, like, you know, when I was a kid, I used to play music, and I'm unfortunately old enough that it was actually hard to record. Like, it was a difficult thing to record. I had to play a song over and over and over and over again, and then play it to someone and get notes. Yeah. And then, you know, maybe at some point I'd finally go to a studio and magic would happen and I'd get to hear it and be like, oh, I don't really like it. But you can actually just, you know, I do sometimes when I'm doing videos, it takes me 25 takes to get 1 2-minute video done. I just eat it. I just absolutely eat it. And I can't talk, and I'm trying to start it. I released one the other day called Snap, Crackle and Profit. And I wanted to start the video, you know, snap, crackle, right? I want to do that. But it took me 25 goes to do the video. So 25 times, and by the end of it, I'm like, snap, crackle.
Yeah,
it does indeed. But you can use that, and you can look at that video and see it and be like, oh, okay, I say like too much, or you know, I wave my hands too much, Jay, calm yourself down. And you know, you can actually see notes relatively easily, but post it. Even though you cringe and die, I hate the sound of my voice. Everyone hates the sound of the voice. Like, just post it. Like, and let as I said earlier, let knowledge of crowds come back to you. And if you start to get engagement, then it makes sense to post more. People
love watching someone do something that they would never do. I don't know if you saw the one the other day with the lip syncing challenge.
It's being passed around. Like,
I got called out by 3 of my close connections, who I speak to a lot.
Right.
I ignored the first one. I thought, no. I ignored the second one. I thought, no, I'm not doing it. I kind of told them in private messages that I was too busy because I was just getting to work from home, set up and everything. And I really didn't want to do it.
There's a crisis going on right now. I can't
start. I really need to focus on my work. And then the third person called me out, and I was like, oh, for God's sake. I thought, I need to shut these people up because it's just going to keep happening.
Yeah.
So I did it. And I had so many people message me saying, like, I honestly don't know how you put yourself out there in that way. It was funny, cringy, but really funny.
Yeah.
I could just never do that. And the amount of people that say that to me, I think probably a year ago, I couldn't have done it either.
Yeah.
I think the more you put out, you know, some of the videos I do, the sketch videos with the different characters, and I've even thrown accents in there as well now. You know, I can't speak Welsh, but I had a go. And the more you do it, the more you forget that the camera's even there.
Yeah.
And you just think, do you know what, sod it, I'm just going to smash this out and see what happens. You almost lose any of those kind of insecurities about yourself.
And it's the annoying thing because it's exactly what we all know that. Like, you know, it's the first time you go to the gym and you're like, ooh, scary people in there and I hate it. And then, you know, 3 weeks later, you're like, hello, Dave, big Dave, you know, how many lifting the small ones today? Whatever, you know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah. And you're having a good time, or it's, you know, it's like anything you've done before. It's why everyone cries when they go to nursery for the first time. No, mommy, no. And then, you know, the week afterwards, you can't get rid of them. And then they're completely, you know what I mean? And you can't even get them out of nursery after that because they love it so much. But it's hard because you see yourself do it. At least those are the things you can go and do, and then just get out of Dodge and be like, I did it. I don't know. I'll probably look very cool doing it. You know, video, unfortunately, you do see yourself eat it a little bit.
You do. But like I say, I think that nothing really phases me on video now. And I think LinkedIn's changed so much over the last year that anything goes. You know, the other day, just because I thought it would make people laugh, I posted a picture of myself in Lycra, top to bottom, in a bikini.
I saw that. It was a good picture.
And I just thought, you know what? A year ago, you would never have been able to post that without being attacked.
On LinkedIn? No chance. No chance.
But based on the current situation and based on the fact that I felt like people probably needed a bit of a cheer up or a laugh, I thought, sod it. Most of my connections know that I go cycling. They know that I like to be a bit of a fool. And, you know, I didn't have one person say to me, this ain't Facebook.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah, sure. And that's the thing. I think even that comment, this ain't Facebook, I haven't seen that in months. Not as violently and vehemently as it was 2 years ago, a year ago, when it was like, whoa, you want to talk about business here and nothing fun. Don't you bring fun here, all right? I'll keep it simple. Man, look, this has been amazing. We should do another one in the future. As we're all locked down, we might up the frequency on these. We try and keep them short, and we've already been blethering for 35 minutes. Yeah, I know. Time flies when you're having fun. So if people want to connect with you, if people can follow you and see the awesome videos, and you should. I love them. Hence why we had Andy on. Where do they find you? What's the best place to go?
Well, my name, LinkedIn, hit that. YouTube. I did say today that I was going to start doing daily YouTube stuff, just to try and look really short snippets, just to try and help people.
I mean, this is live, Andy. Calm down. It's quite commitment. It's quite a commitment.
I know. No, I did say try.
Oh, good, nice.
I threw the word try in there.
Powerful.
I've got my camera set up over here, and I'm just going to record a bunch of stuff every day, and then maybe every other day. I'm bringing it down already. But just some like 2-3 minute snippets on what I'm finding about managing a relatively big team in isolation. It is challenging. It does throw up some challenges, but I'm trying to keep it as officey as I can. I talk to everyone every day. Nice. We're very light-hearted in our conversations. I keep a lot of the conversations not about work.
Yeah.
Very much how are you doing? How are you? Stuff like that. Are you
doing lots of video calls?
Yes.
I'm finding it so important. Like, some people are sat at home on their own.
Yeah.
I think really people should remember it. And from working in IT, in a previous life, I've spoken to a few people there, and they're like, yeah, I've tried to do it, but people are like, oh, I hate it. It's like, you're not getting it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're sat in your pajamas for the 9:30 meeting. It doesn't matter. Yeah. We're all sat in our pajamas. I bet a good $10-$50 right now. We're both sat in jogging bottoms. I know, at least.
Mate, you could have had £1 million on that bet. You'd have still won.
Right, and that's
lucky I've got mine on today. Normally I'm just in pants.
Proper newsreader stuff.
Yeah.
But it's okay. But I think it's important that people use FaceTime, like, Zoom, whatever you can, and have as many chats. Yeah. I've been like, one of the guys who that work with, Simon, me and him will walk around the shop together, or we'll go for a drive or whatever. I've been calling him, being like, fancy a drive? And he's like, yeah, great. 5 minutes to say, chat shite and have a coffee. As otherwise, I'm only talking about this project, that project, this project, that project,
Yeah.
But I think it's really, really helpful, and that everyone should be using as much video as possible just to keep themselves slightly sane, right?
Oh, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Some of the girls in the team are a bit like, I ain't done my hair. I've not got any makeup on, but we kind of insisted on it, at least on a Friday.
Yeah.
When we do the team one.
Yeah.
We kind of insist on chucking the video on as a minimum.
Yeah.
With the girls, because like you say, otherwise you might as well talk on the phone otherwise.
Exactly.
And it's not the same.
But then you end up just being yourself, blethering away in a room.
Yeah.
It's nice to see other people and look at them in the
It is nice.
This was nice as well, because you're like the first person who I don't know, who I've seen and talked to for a couple of weeks now. So thanks very much. Really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, me too.
Wonderful. Guys, follow Andy. That's ANDYBARDEN on LinkedIn. Thanks for all the comments that have come in during the show. We'll catch up with you soon on the next Daily Show.